this story started out with the main character, Charlie. The way she presents herself to the world is a very put together, sophisticated girl, very smart, educated, which she is, right? But then she has a secret life, kind of, where she's a little freaky, she's a little kinky, and she likes to do wild things, like sleep with a bunch of people and drive fast cars, which I loved that part of it, by the way. The fact that that her secret life isn't just that, oh, she likes to hook up with people, but it's like she actually has a wild side. She's like kind of an adrenaline junkie. And I love that because it added so much more to her character than, oh, she just likes to sleep around. Like that wasn't it at all.
Yeah. Okay, this is reading between the lines. We're both emotionally unstable, but that's okay because we're doing it together. So go team. Charlotte tries to present herself as this good, perfect daughter, when in reality, she's truly Charlie at heart. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't get to be herself, except for when she does specific things, which we'll talk about.
Yeah, and also it's important to mention that she's adopted, because that's a big plot point in this book. So part of that, like the way she presents herself, is also for her family. She wants to be the perfect daughter, and she wants to do them proud, because when she was younger, she always had this fear that if she messed up, they'd send her back.
Mm-hmm.
So she wants to be perfect for them and her family, her adopted family, which she doesn't call them her adopted family, and she makes that very known. But her family is very smart, very educated. They have a lot going for them.
Yeah.
And she just wants to live up to the expectation. So that's one of the reasons why she keeps who she really is kind of secret.
Especially too because she is also in a sorority where she's one of like the execs on the sorority board. She like handles the finances or something, and so she also has to like present herself a specific way there as well. And so especially because her mom was also in the same sorority, and she has to always get perfect A's. She's basically like eldest daughter-esque without being the eldest daughter. Like, but that's the vibes that it gives off,
Mm-hmm.
And yet she does have a very rebellious side, and we love that for her. But it's not even rebellious. That was a terrible word to use.
Oh yeah, I was like, I don't think rebellious is the right terminology.
That's not the, but like if you look at it like in the eldest daughter analogy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's not rebellious because it's not. It's just her being herself. Let's dive right into it.
Yeah. So basically, she goes on this app that's, I'd say it's like Tinder, but it's like explicitly for hooking up. Like, I mean, Tinder's basically that, but like, you know what I mean? Like, it's actually like the pictures you put on there and stuff. And she puts some revealing pictures of herself, but doesn't show her face. And she finds two guys, Beckett and
Will.
Well, it was Lars and B was their profile name. And they just had shirtless pictures of them together and then them separately because they like to share women. And if you read any of the previous Elle Kennedy books in the Campus Diaries, like the Dixon Rule, and even in the Graham Effect, like they kind of mention that, but they don't really go into any detail. But they like to have threesomes, and so they made this account together. And she saw them, and obviously because she likes to take risks, I guess, or she has this she likes to do things, but whatever, right? And so she's like, oh, I'm intrigued. So she matches with them, and then they match with her, and then that's kind of how it all starts. Like, they don't know what each other's faces look like at all. Like, they're messaging and they're like basically sexting, right? Like, that's
well, her and Beckett are sexting.
Yes, at first. And then Will joins in.
And
and they text her like on the same platform, but they don't like get together and be like, oh, what should we send? Like, they just text her by themselves kind of thing. Becca and Will created this account because it was kind of hard to judge, like, when they met someone out in the quote unquote real world. And they're like, how do I approach being like, oh, do you want to have a threesome with my buddy here? Right? Like,
Yeah.
so I did this account so that people knew right away. And so Beckett right away was like basically saying, it's two guys, right? And she was like, yeah. And she's like, I'm a little confused how that all works, but I'm intrigued. It was basically what she responded with. And then that's when they started messaging.
She didn't know who they were.
No, they just go by Lars and B. And then she thought like Beckett was a Swedish Viking or something like that. Like she like created like personas for them, which I thought was funny. And then after Will texted her too, they came to the conclusion they're like, she's not ready yet, but she's getting there.
All the while she's also working on, she finds her biological brother through this genetic site, messages him, and doesn't hear back for a while. And so that's a whole nother plot point. And Will's dad is a politician, and I can't remember the reason why. I think it has something to do with another campus had like some hazing thing.
Yeah, so another campus, like their hockey team hazed a guy and he ended up dying.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So Will's dad was like, we're going to come and do like press and whatever for the hockey team that Beckett and Will play on. And so that was also happening all the while they're texting. And Beckett, didn't know a lot about him right away. We just knew that he had this ex that cheated on him and that he just was like a playboy, F-boy kind of thing. So we had two types of guys. We had Will, who was like the mysterious one who didn't talk a lot, and it was like the very sweet golden retriever vibe. And then we had Beckett, who was the F-boy kind of charming, like type vibes.
And I feel like it's important to mention that, I know you didn't read this, but in the Dixon rule, Will is shown having like thoughts about, what he does with Beckett, like the threesomes and everything. He's like, there's probably something wrong with me. Like, I don't know. Like, I like this so much. And so in this book, you see him being like accepting of it and him being like, I just don't want to overthink it. I just want to do whatever I want. And that's important because Charlie also has that thought. Like, she's like, I probably shouldn't want this. Like, this is taboo in a sense, but like, I want it. And so I feel like Will's experience in this helps her become more confident.
Charlie and Beckett have a class together, and Charlie and Will have a class together. It somehow happens that Charlie and Will end up becoming lab partners. Then she starts like, not like flirting with him, but like they're just become kind of like friends. And she, in the other class, hates Beckett, thinks that he's just like this stupid jock and hates him. And her little, which is a sorority term, is Blake Logan. And she is more like the quarterback of the football team. Isaac is infatuated with her, but that's beside the point. Anyways, they go to a hockey game for the boys. And that's when Charlie somehow makes the connection that Lars is Will, because his last name is Larson. And I think that's the same day that she also realizes that B is Beckett, I think.
Yeah, it is, because Gigi is also there, and that's for the reasons the hockey game. And Gigi was like, yeah, they share women. And Charlie's like, oh, I didn't know that. And then she saw like the back of their jerseys and kind of put two and two together. And then later she's like, okay, I think I want to meet up, but I want to see a picture of your faces first. And so they send her a picture and it confirms. And then the next day or something, she is like acting so weird around Will. And he's like, well, what is going on? Because he doesn't understand that that's her.
Yeah.
And then she shows him the picture and he was like, okay. And she's like, where did I get this, Will? And she's like, oh my God. And that's when they put two and two together. And then she kind of freaks out and she's like, I don't want to do this. Like, that's too much. And she's like, please do not tell Beckett. And he's like, well, I have to. Like, this is our account. He won't tell anyone, but I have to. And one thing I respect about him and Beckett is that they don't go advertising what they do with women. Like, I really respect that.
Yeah, agree.
Because even Gigi, who's like close with them, is like, I don't know what they do. I just know that they share women. And so when he was like, we will not tell anyone about this, but like he needs to know.
Yeah.
I was like, that makes sense. And I'm glad he did that.
Yeah, she kind of had a freak out moment.
Which makes sense. I feel like she has this like outer personality and she's already doing things on the down low, but this is just another level.
Plus, it was also people that she had talked to, people that she knows, somebody that she doesn't like, and one that she had become kind of friends with in class.
Yeah.
All the while she'd been sexting with them.
Yeah.
So, also, can we just go way back to the beginning where it's Beckett's POV and like the second chapter? And the reason why they match with her or like her is because of the bow.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be good. But also like, oh my God.
And I love how Will knew. Like, he was like, it's the bow, isn't it? Like,
yeah, he was like, the bow.
Their dynamic is so interesting, I feel like, because when Charlie asked Will if him and Beckett would ever hook up on their own, he was like, well, no, I don't think so. And they're so open about it. He was like, no, he wasn't like, no, never, like, that's horrible, you know? He was like, well, I don't think so. But like, if something happened and we were doing it with someone else, like, it wouldn't be terrible.
Yeah.
And I like how open they are with that and with each other and with Charlie. There was no miscommunication in this book, which is important because that would be really bad in this book specifically. Like, you really need to have open communication, open conversation about everything.
Yes. Once she finds out like who they are, she goes out to the racetrack to Dante, who's her friend, and is basically like, I need to talk to you about something. Here's the deal. What should I do? And he was like, do it. Like, he was basically like, what's stopping you? Basically, he was like, you're your own person.
Mm-hmm.
Which I loved that for her because it's not that she needed confirmation or validation from anybody else, but it was more like she just needed to realize like, this is not anybody else's decision. This is my decision, you know?
Yeah.
So once she decided that, she then texted them and was like, hey, let's do this. But I also loved that didn't mean that they were going to hook up.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, we're just going to go out for a drink.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they did.
But at first it was awkward because she was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And she's like, I'm going to leave. And they're like, no, just, it's not a big deal. Like, and they were so reassuring. Like, the entire book, they were so reassuring and not toxic in the slightest. And I think this adds another layer to it. And so they talked or whatever. And then they were like, you know, flirting a bit. And then one of them mentioned it, like her kissing them. And she was like, well, not with so many people around, but walk me to my car and we'll see what happens. You know, it was just like she just kissed them, right? But it somehow it was smutty. Like, somehow it was spicy. And it was just a kiss. And I was like, what?
It's because she kissed Will first.
Yep.
And it was because Beckett was behind her.
Yeah.
Like, holding her.
Uh-huh.
And like giving her instructions. Okay. That's why it was smutty. And then she turns around and Will does the same thing. And you're just like,
yeah. See, when I read that part, I was like, oh my God. And when you started reading it and you're like, so when's the smut? Like, is it smutty? And I'm like, I don't know how to explain this. Because I just read a scene that was smutty, but it wasn't smutty. And I'm like, I don't know. And you're like, I do not know. And I'm like, I don't know how to explain this, man.
That was definitely smutty. So that was the first scenario.
And then she texts them. I don't know why. I don't remember how she got like getting the courage to, but then she ended up going over to their house, and thankfully they live alone, like together. Like they live together, but no one else lives there. And then she's like, well, I'll just come over to watch a movie. Famous last words, okay? I feel like every time it's like, I'm just gonna come over to watch a movie. You're not watching the movie. Like, so anyways, when she said that, I was like, oh, so they're definitely gonna do it.
But they kept being like, it's just a movie.
And then she was like staring at Will because he was sitting, or like his arm was around her or something like that. And like Beckett clocked it or something. And that's how it kind of snowballed into it. And she was still like kind of uncomfortable, but she was still like, I don't know how this works. Like, and she's brought this up a couple of times, but like, if you go to one first, like to one guy first, like does the other guy get jealous? Like that's what she was kind of worried about too. She was like, if I kiss him first, or like if I kissed Will first, would Becca get jealous, or vice versa? Like if I'm, like she didn't understand. But these are two of the most like non-toxic guys ever. Like they didn't get jealous at all, especially even if one of them was just with her by themselves. Like they're like, love that for you, basically. And honestly, amazing. Like that just made the book so good. And I think that's what really helped the book work the way it did. But anyways, she ended up like making out with them and stuff. And then they go up to the room, and that scene, smutty, let me tell you. And I texted you, and I was like, so you know how in regular books you're trying to figure out how a smutty scene works. You're like, okay, what is happening? Where is everything? It's like what's the position, right? And then when there's three of them, it's like even more confusing. You just have to sit there and be like, okay, so who is where? Like what is happening right now? You got to think of the logistics. Like, okay. But it worked out.
It was fairly obvious to figure out who was where, but
yeah,
yes, it was very smutty. And the thing that made it even 10 times better throughout the entire book was, I'm sorry, maybe this is bad, but the fact that they this is the thing, but that they encouraged her the entire time and reassured her, like you said, and there was verbal, yeah. And they kept being like, it's okay, like we can stop. It's okay, like whatever.
Yeah. And that is the definition of men written by women. These two characters. Yeah.
It was a little weird though to me that, because I think the first time that they did it, they only one of them actually did her.
Yeah.
However, all three of them still had a good time.
Yeah. But that goes back to like them not being jealous.
No, I know. But in my brain, when you hear like threesome, what do you think?
I guess I don't know what I think.
Okay. I thought something else.
Okay.
Anyway.
When there was a scene where she did ask, or it was brought up a couple of times where she did ask, like, so like, are you both inside?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, we haven't done that before. I don't know, but they weren't opposed to it. And then they just never showed them doing it.
I don't know. Wait, missed opportunity. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, they just teased us with a scene that didn't even happen.
I know. I was a little bit disappointed, not gonna lie.
No, literally. So afterwards, but she did mention, so they only like showed in detail the first time, but then she did mention that in that same night they did it multiple times. But then she left because she was like, oh my God, like I can never do that again. And later you hear her be like, I'm so ashamed of myself. Like that wasn't okay. And it was so sad. It was really sad because she enjoyed herself. She wanted to do it, right? And like societal norms told her like, that's not okay. You can't do that or whatever. And I just found that so sad. And then she deleted the app, deleted their conversation. Will was gonna leave her alone, except they were partners, and he tried to talk to her about it, and she was like, no, like I can't do it. And it was really sad when she told him that she was ashamed and said that like, it was wrong or like weird. And then it kind of like insulted him because him and Beckett do it. Like this isn't their first rodeo kind of thing. Like they like to do that. And then she felt bad and it was a whole thing. But then Beckett got her number from Will because Will had it from them being lab partners. And he sent her such a reassuring text.
Yeah.
Basically being like, you shouldn't be ashamed of yourself. Like, we all had a good time. Like, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was really sweet.
Yeah, it was. And I think that not that was what she needed, but I think it was reassurance for all three of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because even both of them were like, Will and Beckett were like, it's never been like that before.
Yeah.
And so like they were even scared of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, especially as time went on, because they're like, okay, this isn't just sex. Like, we're actually falling for her.
Yeah.
Like, what do we do in that scenario?
Yeah. Right.
But I'd also like to mention, so Charlie had an ex named Mitch who couldn't keep up with her. Basically, her sex drive, basically. He couldn't keep up. He basically insulted her, saying there was something wrong with her, calling her names and stuff. But yet then she has these two guys who would never do that and who can keep up with her. You know, there's two of them. Like, if one of them gets tired, the other can just, you know.
I also love how when she confessed that to them, how she was like daily, like once a day at least. They were like, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, love this for you.
Yeah. And then
love this for you.
That one scene where everything was going wrong, like she was so mad, she was done with the day, and she talked about like having panic attacks, but it wasn't panic attacks. Like she just, got like super overwhelmed, and she just drove over there and slept with him. And they were like, and she just like got up and started getting dressed like it was normal. And they're like, what just happened? And at first I was worried that they'd be concerned. Then they're like, we love that you just came over here and just, did all that.
Yeah.
And I think Beckett made the comment and was like, how did we get I don't know how he said it. Basically, like the horniest girl. Like, how did we get?
I think that is what he said, actually.
Yeah. But they were loving it. Like, there was no judgment at all.
No.
And that's what I love, especially in a book like this when it's talking about something that's not really quote unquote normal, Yeah.
Right.
And in the book, like, they mention how it's not normal, but they show that it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That it's a little different because they're happy, they're having fun, and that's all that matters.
I'm trying to remember because she saw Beckett at a party after like first time, and she was like, nope, can't do it, nope.
She still was saying like, oh, like I can't do this or whatever, but they knew, they were like, okay, but you liked it and it's okay that you liked it, but she was still in denial. And she was also
because Mitch had made a comment to her.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Anyways, continue.
And she was also going through this thing with her brother where it was before she met him and he was still ignoring her and never responded. And she kind of asked Beckett for advice, and he was like, I'm not really good with the advice, And then after class, he pulled her into this closet and basically got her off, and then she got him off. And then they sent a picture to Will, and he basically said that he was going to punish both of them. And I was like, oh my God, please do.
That's when I was like, okay, I'm hooked. I'm in. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It was Becca's POV. She had red nails.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you can obviously figure out what's happening and where they're.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you haven't read this book, you probably aren't listening to this.
Well, maybe because you're intrigued.
Yeah. Basically, they start like hooking up regularly. Like, she's over there every night. But also, another plot, like with her brother, she's scared to tell her family that she went on this site to find her biological family because she was like, I don't want them to feel like I betrayed them.
Yeah.
So it was like her best friend was telling like, you have to tell them. And then eventually she told her sister about it, and her sister was like, you have to tell them. Like,
Yeah.
and it was like a whole thing. So she was kind of struggling with multiple things at the same time. And then she realizes she's being stalked by this guy, and later you find out it's her brother. And so they meet, they get to know each other a little bit, and he's like resentful of her because his upbringing was not nearly as nice. Like his father abused him, his mom died like soon after they got him or whatever. And he was like, why didn't your parents adopt me too?
Yeah.
And so he was resentful, and she was like, I don't know how to handle this. Like, I want to be in his life. You know, he's my brother. And it was kind of cute how they found out that like her stuffed animal was his, that he gave her to like calm her down. I was like, that's really sad and really cute. But so she was struggling with that. And then she was struggling with this kind of relationship because she's like, I don't really know what's happening, but I don't really want to think about it too much. Will's dad, he had like the cameraman following around like the hockey team. It was kind of affecting their playing. And then Will had to give an interview, and it was just like this whole thing. Basically, that was his like plot line, not including their relationship, is like his dad is not a good person. He's a politician. He just wants to do things for the looks of it. And he has a stepmom that he really likes, but sometimes like there was a decision that he wanted to make, whether to help another politician after he graduated, like go work for another one. And that would like really hurt his dad's image. And his stepmom was like, you can't do that. So he was like trying to figure out like his family stuff. And then Beckett, his dad, he's from Australia, and his dad wanted to go back for a job opportunity. His mom wanted to stay. So he's kind of figuring that out. And many times throughout the book, he was like, I think I'd go back to Australia. Like, I want to go back. So that's what his deal was. And also with him, he couldn't see himself in a relationship.
Because of his past.
His past, which we find out that his ex didn't actually cheat on him. She died. And
dude, that plot twist threw me through a loop. When I read that, I literally went like this. I was like,
yeah, and Will didn't even
no wonder.
I know. And like the fact that she had leukemia and he was holding her and he fell asleep when he woke up, she was dead in his arms. And that is so depressing. And then there was a scene where Charlie like goes into Beckett's bed because he never stays in bed with her and Will after everything. Like he doesn't want that attachment. And then there was one night where she went to Beckett's room and he was like saying how he's terrified that she's going to leave him. And you think, oh, it's because he doesn't want to be cheated on. But no, because his ex died. And the way he said, after you hear that, and then you go back to him being like, I don't want you to leave me, it's so much more depressing.
Because he's so scared of losing her. Not losing her enough, like that she's going to leave him, like losing her of like, he's never going to see her again. Yeah, that killed me. I was like, okay, major plot twist. This went from, okay, this is kind of like emotional to like, okay, we're in the dumps sad. This is depressing. But yeah, that happened. Yeah, that was freaking depressing.
Yeah, and the fact that Will didn't even know. Like, Will's his best friend, like, more than his best friend, right?
Yeah, he didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got Will on the other hand, who's like, I want a wife, I want a family at some point.
Yeah. Two things. Not that we need to keep talking about these scenes. But there's three other things that are in my brain right now. There will be more that come up, but three in my brain right now. One, the racetrack scene. Second, the rave. Three, the scene with her and her brother when they go on their hike. Let's
Okay.
talk through this.
Okay, so the racetrack scene, when she asked him to go with her, that was like the first time. Well, not really the first time, but like I was a little stressed this whole book because I'm like, I know they say they are not jealous, but I'm like scared one of them is gonna get jealous and sad that they got left out.
Yeah.
So Beckett went with her. I loved it, but I was like, okay, but what about Will? Like I was just sad and stressed, you know. But it's the fact that she brought him to like basically her safe space and he saw this other side to her and he was like, oh my God. And I think that's one of the times he was like, oh my God, I'm in love. Like this is like there's so much more to you.
Yeah. That's when I think he realized, like, okay.
So when they were just texting before they met, before they knew who each other were, she said she had this fantasy about doing it on top of a car. And then they were at this racetrack alone, this really fancy car. And he was like, you know what we should do? And she's like, yes. Sign me up.
Okay, listen. I was like, oh my God. Okay. But also a little bit disappointed because I was like, this could have been so much better if it was all three.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like that was just for her. And
yeah.
Like that was just like it made sense.
Yeah. And I feel like her and Will had a good connection from the start, right? Like they started off as friends and like things like that. Her and Beckett needed that extra time, I feel like, really have that emotional connection, especially with his past and him being scared to let someone else in to actually have a relationship. So I'm glad that it was him in that scene.
I preferred the chapters because there was only a couple times it was like just her and Will. There are more chapters of just her and Beckett. I preferred those.
Yeah, well, I only remember one with just her and Will, and Beckett walks in and he watches them and they say like, oh, it adds so much to it. So I feel like there wasn't really any that were explained. Like she later says like she does have times just with each of them, but there was never really any shown to us with her and Will.
No, it was alluded to.
Okay, so the rave, she had said, and this goes back to like her alter ego, but like not her alter ego because it's like who she is. Like she wants to try new things and stuff. And she was like, I want to take some, what was it, Molly? Some sort of drug?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's what it was.
Yeah. And
I don't know. I'm not in that scene. I don't know.
I think that's what it said in the book though. So
yeah.
And she's like, I want to take that and go to a rave. Like if I could do anything else, like I want to do that. And then so they take her to the rave.
But before she takes it, they're like, rule number 1. And they just like break down the rules. And I was like, oh, this is serious. Like, this isn't even a joke. Like, this is like, they're taking this very seriously. Yeah. And I was like, at first I was like, why are you taking this so seriously? This is a little bit ridiculous. And then I was like, okay, wait, I actually really love this for her. You know what I mean? Because I was like, at first I was like, I'm sad for her because nothing was going to happen. And I was like, okay, that's sad. But obviously we remedied that.
But that was not my thought at all. I was like, I love how they're taking this seriously, like from the start, because she is taking a drug. Like she wouldn't be able to give consent normally. Like I would have been more concerned if they didn't give like this whole list of rules.
I'm glad that they did. And also when they were like in it, when like the one guy like came up to her and they were like, she's with us. Actually. Yeah. I was like, oh yes, she is.
Yeah. Okay. Also, can we talk about if you're gonna have a threesome or be in like a relationship, you know, 2 hockey players or 2 hot guys, Yes. Like, she is, like, living the dream. Like, literally.
What's the alternative? Like, what?
I don't know, but I just, like, imagine these two, like, big guys be like, she's with us, and she's like, yeah, I am. And, like, when they go out in public for the first time as, like, together, like, telling people that they're not like, they're together, and one, I don't know who said it, but someone was like, oh, yeah, all the girls, like, looking at you like that, they're just jealous. Like, they're really jealous. I'm like, yeah, I could see that. Like, I feel like the people wouldn't, like, judge them. They would just be mad that they're not her. Yeah. Because logistically, why would you judge that? Applaud her. Let's applaud her.
Yes, exactly. The rave was cool because it was like, that was another way for her to, like, experience her wild side, like the racetrack and all that. I thought that was cool. And, like, we didn't get, like, a lot, because obviously it wasn't her POV. I think it was Beckett's question mark.
I think so, yeah.
It was one of them. Yeah. But she really, like, lived her best life. And I love that for her. Yeah. And then in the morning, she definitely lived her best life.
Yeah. And one of the things I love about this whole relationship that she has with both of them is, like, they allow her to be herself fully.
Mm-hmm.
He mentions that too. She's like, I don't know anyone else who I can fully be who I am, who I want to be, besides these two.
Yeah.
And then the scene with her brother on the hike, and when she was saying how he just seemed off, he seemed like he didn't want to be there, I was getting a little concerned. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, is something gonna happen? Like, something really bad. I mean, something did bad happen, but not what I was thinking. Like, I thought he was gonna, like, abuse her or something.
I know, but it was still sad. I was like, that's the only thing left of her childhood, and now it's gone.
Yeah, that was really messed up. And then he tried to apologize, and I don't know. I feel like I hold grudges, so I don't know if I'd forgive that easily, but
I was crying. I was like, this is so sad. Like, especially because the point for her reaching out and trying to find her brother was because she wanted to have a piece of herself. And for him to then do that, it was like, okay, you just took everything that I thought I had and you took it away. Yeah.
And I understand why he's mad at the situation, because his situation was so bad, when she got to live this great life with a great family. And I understand why he's upset about that, but it's not her fault.
No.
And he's going to take it out on her. And I feel like you said, she reached out to him because she wanted to find out more about her life before she was adopted, like that part of her. And I think he gave that to her, like when he gave her her name, right? But then it kind of seemed like he wanted to erase who she was now. Like when he was kept calling her by that name and kept being like, we're siblings, like you should have my back, or like something like that, So it wasn't like he was trying to add on to her life. It was like he was trying to replace her life with what they could have had if they grew up together, if their situations didn't happen the way they did.
His anger was justified. Not her, but the anger was justified.
Yeah. Or her family, because her family didn't know that he existed. Like, that was the adoption agency's fault.
But you didn't know that until the end.
I know.
And I was under the impression that they knew.
Oh, I definitely did not think they knew at all. I was like, there's no way they knew.
Because I was like, I feel like this is a little too good to be true. Like her family.
Yeah, I guess. But also it's a book, so not really.
Okay, fair.
I kind of just thought like they seemed like great parents and like such sweet people. I don't think they would have just left one kid behind.
Before that or after that, I can't remember. It was their big sorority ball thing, and everybody was there, and she went with Will because he was like the public face, I think is how they said it.
Yeah.
And Anyways, they're having a great time. It was fine. Her mom was there because obviously, like, she was part of the sorority and all this stuff, right? Then she goes outside to call Beckett, and her stupid ex heard her and then goes tells everybody.
And again, he's calling her names. He's like, oh, one guy doesn't satisfy you enough, like, blah, blah. Like, bro, you couldn't keep up, okay?
Yeah.
Like, that's
so, like,
all
shut up. Yeah. Like, shut up. You are actually making yourself look stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. She has 2 hot hockey players, and you're just mad. Like, that's...
Yeah.
You're jealous, basically. Like, you want her to be with you so you can control her.
Yeah.
And he was not open-minded at all to what she needed or what she wanted or whatever.
No. That made me so mad. And then when they were going to leave, and he was like, because Will had found out, and Mitch is like, what are you going to do? Punch me? And Will's like, okay. And I was like, yes, we love this. Please do. Yes.
The thing I loved about Will is that he was such a sweet person, or he is such a sweet person, but he has that protective side. And he has that demanding side, I guess. Like, when it was like in the beginning, Beckett was basically saying like, oh yeah, like Will calls the shots. He says like, tells me what to do and I do it and that's fine. I'm like, yes, take control, man.
Well, and you didn't see that right away either though.
Mm-mm.
Until like towards the end, there was a situation. And that's when, I think they were in the living room or something.
Well, I also loved how they took turns kind of being in control. And like it wasn't like one person just like fully took control of the situation. Like if one person wanted to do something, they did it. Right.
They also were very good at telling each other what to do.
Yeah.
And they were good listeners.
Honestly, I don't think there was any pushback at all, ever. They're like, okay. When she went and told her family about
oh my gosh,
everything.
That scene was hilarious.
You know what it reminded me of, in a sense? You know that one scene in Friends when they're like,
yeah,
well, Monica or Hurricane whatever did break the porch swing, and Monica did. And like things like that. But instead of
Monica and Chandler are living together. Yes, that scene.
But instead of them telling on each other, they told on like themselves.
Yes.
Like the brothers, like, so Charlie was like, yeah, so I reached out to my, oh no, she told them that before, but she was like, yeah, so I am dating 2 guys, and I think I'm gonna move to Australia with them, and they like went on that, and then it's just silence, and the brother's like, I'm getting a divorce, and then it's like, and the sister's like, I'm a lesbian. It's like, what?
And the parents are just like,
yeah, I laughed so hard, and the parents are like, okay.
I just love how it opened up the floodgates. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Because I just knew that they were all not telling the truth. Like, you could just tell.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is funny. It was really funny.
Yeah, it was really hilarious. And I love how accepting the parents were and how everyone was. Like, they didn't show anyone being like, oh my God, that's so weird. Like, they didn't really show any of her fears coming true. Yeah. And I really like that.
Because I was a little bit nervous for her.
Yeah. And with going back with Beckett's dad, first of all, that was the first time Beckett claimed her as his girlfriend to someone, right? And I thought that was really sweet. And that was the morning after she told Will that she loved him. Will told her that he loved her. And then she told Beckett that she loved him. And Beckett couldn't say it back at that moment because he's still like, figuring things out. And then the dad, a little bit later, he's like, I hate to break this to you, man, but I saw your girl and your roommate making out. And Beckett's like,
ah. Yeah, so then he explains the whole thing. And the dad's like, okay, so it's not my place, but
yeah, basically was like, I'm not judging. You do whatever you wanted to do, but I just don't want you. Yeah. His main concern was like how this would end. Like, he didn't want his son to get hurt, and that's valid.
Yeah,
it's valid.
But everybody was like, how is that gonna work? And same thing with like Space, Charlie's friend, like best friend. She was like, have you thought about like in the future, like how this is gonna work? Have you thought about like grad school, how this is gonna work? Like you need to think about these things. And Charlie's like, no, I haven't, no. Like I'm just taking it day by day, man. Like I no.
Yeah.
And then Faith was like, you need to start thinking about this.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, crap, yes, I do.
Yeah, that is true. But I do want to say that when Will told her that he loved her, it was so like he said it in like such a, I don't want to say nonchalant way, but he didn't make it a big deal because she was having a panic attack and he was trying to calm her down. And then because that was after the party, right? And then it just he just said it and then he just kept on talking. And she was like, later, she's like, you told me you loved me. And he was like, oh yeah, I did. And I meant it. Like he didn't even like think twice about it. And I love that. And I love when after they had their moment, she like looks at the door and he was like, go. Like such a sweet way. Like he wasn't jealous. She's like, go be with him, go see him. And that goes back to the not toxic masculinity thing. Like they're just vibing. They're not jealous. They just, and it's also because Beckett and Will has such a strong bond, not necessarily like romantic, but like also more than friends. Like they never really discussed what it was. But yeah, I just liked that whole dynamic.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say is that because you knew that she wanted to go tell Beckett like I love you, and Will was like, go, like it's fine, like that you need to do that. And it was like, okay, this is acceptance. I love this. Yeah. And yes, it was like, okay, we love the open communication. We love the open, like the non-toxic. We just love this. This is great. This is amazing. I
was a little worried though about Will's dad finding out and like if it was going to be like a whole thing, like people were going to talk about it, you know, because his dad's such a public figure, but I'm glad that wasn't how it went. Like they kind of briefly mentioned like, oh, like someone that works for his dad said that the thoughts on this relationship is 50-50, like, and then that's the extent of them mentioning it. And I was like, that's good. Like I didn't want that to be like a plot point where it's like, oh, it got out because of his dad and then Charlie freaks out and you know, like a third act breakup kind of thing. I didn't want that.
Yeah, no, I didn't either. I was really like, this is gonna be so cute and so happy. I was on the high when she got the acceptance letter to the University of Sydney and Beckett was like, yeah, like I'm gonna go back. It was like, okay, yes, this is all working out. This is amazing. I love this. And they were like, it's fate and all this stuff. And I was like, this is so sweet. This is gonna be amazing. And I was like, wait, there's too many pages left for something not to go wrong. But I'm like, I'm just gonna live this out. It's fine. And then when they're leaving and Will's like, no, I'm not coming with. I was like, you MFer is what I was like, no.
I know. And Charlie started crying and then Beckett punched Will and Will's like, I understand you're upset that I made her cry. And Beckett, when he was like, I didn't punch you for her. I know she can defend herself. I punched you because you hurt me.
Yes. I was like, okay, and we're done. I can't. Okay.
That was sad. Like it was betrayal on two fronts. And it's like, oh my God, I can barely handle when it's one. Okay, but like I understand why he wanted to just go about this one path just to see if he likes it. I didn't like how he handled it though. I didn't like how he waited till they were about to leave to go. But I understand why he wanted to try it out. But then he realized he didn't like it. He actually hated it. But the chapter where Charlie and Beckett are in Sydney, and there was a scene where Beckett's like, where they're talking about Will, and he was like, yeah, I miss him too, you know, but if he doesn't come, am I enough? And she was like, of course you are. Like, I am so in love with you. You are enough. And then she thinks like, but there's always room in my heart for Will. And I love that she loves them so much, like so equally. There's not like a favorite or whatever. Like it's them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was at that point though, I was like, okay, I just have to make my peace with the fact that it's gonna end like it's just gonna end like that. Like that's how I thought it was gonna end. I literally was like, I'm just gonna make my peace with that. Like it's fine. They went their separate ways. Like I'll just make my peace with it. It's fine. You know what I mean? Like I was like, I'm just gonna make my peace with it. It's fine.
Well, I honestly, throughout this whole book, usually I can predict, like, oh, like, obviously they're going to end up together, or, oh, like, A, B, and C is going to happen. But this book, I truly did not know where it was.
No. I was waiting for like, at every turn, I was waiting for something to happen.
Yeah.
Like, in the deal where, like, all of a sudden it was like, okay, done. I was like, I was waiting for that. And then when that happened, and he was like, I'm not coming with, I was like, I've been waiting for this moment, and now I'm sad that it's actually here. So, but now I have to make my peace with it. But then obviously didn't have to make my peace with it. But I did for about 2 chapters. So
yeah, but then Will,
it's too long.
Yeah, he obviously went to Sydney, and they're living their best life, and
yeah,
I just love that for them. I love how they're happy.
I know, because I was gonna be so sad if they weren't. As long as they were all happy and doing their things.
Yeah.
But they were happiest together.
Yeah. Exactly. Like they understood each other like no one else could. And it's just like, I don't know how to explain it. Like it was just such a cute story.
Cute. I mean,
cute, smutty, you know.
Anyways.
I do wish, however, we got to see Mitch, her ex, see them together, like all 3 of them together. I was waiting for that moment. Like, I wish we could have seen that.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, it doesn't matter, you know?
Yeah.
It was a roller coaster ride of emotions, bruh.
Yeah.
I was like, especially with her plot point and her parents and like her brother, I was like, there was never like a calm moment. And with the like hockey team and like that whole thing too. And I was just like, there's just never anything that's calm here. And then there's everything else.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a roller coaster ride. Okay.
Yeah, this book was not boring in the slightest.
Buckling in. Okay. Not boring. It took me longer than I thought to finish it. I could have read the whole thing in one day. But at the same time, there were a lot of times where I was like, need to close it. I need to set it down. I need to walk away.
Yeah. Well, for me, it took me a week to finish it because I was reading it during the week and obviously I work.
Well, yeah, me too.
Well, yeah, but like, I feel like I wasn't in the mood that much to read, and I go to bed early for my job because I have to wake up really early. So it's like, it took me a hot minute to read it, but not because it was bad, just because I didn't have enough time.
I think it only took me like 4 days, which is still a long time for me to finish a book. But
yeah,
I think even if I could have sat down and like had a whole day to read it, I don't think I would have.
Yeah.
Because
okay, well, I knew this book was going to be good because in the Dixon Rule, there was a scene where the 2 main characters were kind of, you know, going at it. They're in the kitchen, you know, while Will was on the couch sleeping. And the MMC in the Dixon Rule had this thing where like he wanted people to watch. It wasn't like a creepy thing. It was like he had like it was like a fantasy kind of thing. And so Will wakes up and he's like, oh my God, you know, but obviously he does these things with Beckett. And so like the MMC and the FMC are, you know, getting off and Will's on the couch getting off. And I was like, oh my God. So when I found out the next book was Will's, I was like, yes. It's like, I didn't know where this was going to go, but I'm here for it.
Yep, definitely here for it. Yep. Definitely here for it. May have ruined me for other books. Just saying. Nothing else can live up to it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was. Mm-hmm. I was a little surprised. Also, a little weird about it, but it's fine.
Yeah.
But it's fine. We read From Blood and Ash, okay? Let's be honest.
Yeah. See, I've read like that, and then this, like, I've read about threesomes before, but never about like 3 people in a relationship. So that kind of stressed me out because I saw in a show I've watched that was kind of a plot point for like a side character, and it didn't work out for her like at all. So I was like a little nervous, but since like we mentioned so many times, there's no jealousy, there's open communication, equal love all around, then it worked out.
Yeah. Anyways, this is Reading Mysteries Alive. Thank you so much for listening.